Now, once again, Raymond Arroyo.
Welcome back to The World Over. In Louisiana and Minneapolis this week, 2 African-American men were shot by police. As protests mount, the president is reacting. Joining us with her take is the niece of civil rights icon Martin Luther King Jr., Dr. Alveda King. She joins us via satellite from Atlanta, Georgia. Alveda, thank you for coming back to the show.
Hello, Raymond, and all of your viewers. Yes, I appreciate the opportunity to talk about this serious event.
Excellent. Well, we will get into it. Look, I want to get your reaction to the presidential statement. The president, while en route to Poland, released the following, and then once there, he sort of echoed it. Here's what he said. Regardless of the outcome of such investigations, one thing is clear. What's clear is that these fatal shootings are not isolated incidents. They are symptomatic of the broader challenges within our criminal justice system. The racial disparities that appear across the system year after year, and the resulting lack of trust that exists between law enforcement and too many of the communities they serve. Alveda, are these not isolated incidents, and do you accept the president's reasoning here?
These are not isolated incidents. Of course, I was born in the 20th century as a civil rights leader in the 20th century. My uncle, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., my dad, his brother, Reverend A.D. King, I, and many, dealt with an unjust system. The system is still flawed and out of balance, actually. But we've got to have people of goodwill who resist violence, who resist racial hatred. We're one race. Acts 17:26 says we're one blood. And so we've got to deal with the disparities of our system. It is flawed, but we're not supposed to hate each other and fight each other in the process.
Are you concerned that we might, as Speaker Ryan mentioned earlier, that there might be a rush to judgment here when we don't quite know all the facts? I mean, there is the possibility that guns were present in both of these cases, and these officers might have been engaging in what they thought at the time was self-defense, even though that's certainly, not, these ended in tragic, circumstances in the end.
I believe that many law enforcement officers are acting in a precipitated manner. In other words, without having any opportunity or real training to know how to genuinely assess a threat. And so for them to act out of fear with so many mounting numbers of African-American men and others who are being injured, shot, and hurt, and killed. And so there's going to have to be some training. There's going to have to be some revamping of a system. This is just absolutely unacceptable to see our young men, our African-American men, shot down and slaughtered in this manner.
I want to play something for you. This is Jesse Jackson on Fox the other night with Megyn Kelly. I want to get your reaction to this.
Earlier tonight, you came out and you called them racist. Now that is a bridge too far, is it not? We have no idea what was in those cops' hearts.
Well, no, we know the culture. And we know that these 2 white cops arrived at some conclusions.
Come on. That's not fair to these guys. That's not fair.
These guys murdered a man who was...
Isn't it racist to ascribe that sort of a racist motivation to these guys without knowing?
No. Their fears were unfounded, and in part, the stereotypes of an African-American male. On hearsay, they shot him 4 times on the ground.
Alveda King, do you see this as a clear-cut case of racism on behalf of these officers?
I must say that in America, there is less value for the African-American life and the African-American male life than there is for other elements in our society. This happens to be true. I believe that there are many people of goodwill regardless of ethnicity. I work with people across the communities in my uncle Martin Luther King Jr.'s beloved community. And so everyone in America is not a racist, but racism does exist. And we can even look, Raymond, we've talked about this before, the number of abortions in America. There are more abortions in Black America than anywhere else. So there is a devaluation of African-American life. And we have to, it's hard to hear, but we actually do have to look at that.
But are you concerned, though, that that's the instant brush that these cases are painted with. I mean, look, these guys, they might have been acting out of self-defense. They might also have been acting out of, you know, just trigger-happy cops. I don't know. We don't know all the facts. And the question is, do you worry that we're rushing ahead?
Well, were you able to see the video? Of course, we must deal with justice. We cannot do it from an emotional approach. We cannot stir up fear and hatred. However, we really do have to examine the facts. I'm really glad that the young lady was able in Minnesota to take a video of what really happened, and I believe that's going to be very telling.
Yeah, I wish she'd been shooting, you know, before the death. I mean, he was already basically dead by the time she started shooting. You know, you see the gun pointed, but the poor man is bleeding. Her boyfriend is bleeding and dead next to her. So, you know.
And there was no weapon in his hand. He didn't have a weapon. That's very disturbing. There was no weapon in his hand, and yet he was shot 4 times. So we really do want to examine how that happened.
Alveda, what are you hearing from the community that you are so much a part of? And what are you telling them? What should be the reaction of not only Black America, but all America right now?
Well, blessedly, I joined Pastor Stephen Broden in Texas and Bishop Jim Lowe in Birmingham, Alabama, both civil rights leaders, both pastors and ministers who are highly respected across every ethnic group, every denomination of faith. And we agree that we must pray. We must demand an investigation. We must be nonviolent in handling this. We must pray for the families who've lost their loved ones, and that this type of violence absolutely has to stop in America.
Alveda King, evangelist, thank you so much for being here. You are, of course, the Director of Civil Rights for the Priests for Life, and we thank you as always, and we'll be in touch soon.